Yeah, the players are lining up in that famous tunnel, and it's the time where the nerves, you've got to get control of those, haven't you, ladies? You've got to get yourself composed. It's going to be a big occasion here. Ella Henderson's going to be singing the anthems. Emma Hayes looks as relaxed as ever there, Farah.
Yeah, and I think she breeds that in her team. I think when you look in the tunnel here, you can see the Chelsea players look really relaxed and focused, and I think both sets of teams will feel that. I think these are used to winning and playing in major competitions, and so I think this is a fantastic game. Both teams look really focused coming out of the tunnel now.
They do. Just one change Chelsea have made, Farah, interesting, from that 5-0 win, and Sophie Ingles coming in. Give us an insight to what she brings, the Welshwoman.
I think she goes under the radar a little bit. I think she's, vital to this Chelsea team. She just sits in front of that Chelsea back three and gives stability and allows her team, with the attacking players that this Chelsea team have, she allows her team to attack. So she's very vital to this team.
Well, I know exactly where you two have laid your hats today. We're very much divided in this studio. It's such an exciting clash we've got here on the BBC from Wembley Stadium. FA Cup record holders Arsenal against the two-time winners Chelsea, and your commentary team today are Rachel Brown-Finnis, who won the cup with Everton in 2010, and Jonathan Pearce. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Gabby. Good afternoon, everybody. The 51st Women's FA Cup final, the 7th to be played at Wembley, and surely the biggest of all time. An estimated 47,000 crowd for this clash of the top sides in the land. Arsenal WSL leaders, Chelsea reigning champions, currently second and seeking a domestic 2021 treble. The honour party out there to meet the two sets of players. A romantic day, a day of nostalgia when we celebrate 50 years of the Women's FA Cup, but very much in the present. Rachel, it's a game between the top two teams in the land.
It is. I cannot think of a cup final, an FA Cup final, where we have had so much talent on the pitch. You look at the starting 11 for both sides, you look at the bench for both sides, and there is world-class players on each of those. There's very little to divide these two teams, and this really is the showcase product of women's football at this very moment.
Sue Hoff, chairman of the Women's Football Board, and Alexa Murray, director of PR and Vitality, the sponsors meeting the players, the haze you can see there from the pyrotechnics. We're seeing a presentation to cup final teams post-COVID. We're in the middle of the pandemic, of course, still, but this is the first time in a showpiece occasion like this we've seen a presentation of that ilk, which is great to see. It's great to see a final being played at Wembley Stadium as the world of women's football expands year in, year out. And Ella Henderson, who's already belted out a couple today here, will sing the national anthem. Enthusiastic crowd. Arsenal, whose fans are away to our right on this damp, chilly Sunday, have no surprises in that lineup, given that Leah Williamson, superb this season, was ruled out a few weeks ago with a hamstring injury. England's women Lotte Moy and Jem Beattie of Scotland, 4 times a cup winner, will have the job of negating Sam Kerr. Kat Lee and McCabe have been very strong down the left all season. McCabe and Beth Meads form so strong that Nikita Parris can only make the bench again. Little and Miedema have scored in cup finals, and the Dutch international has 15 goals this season for club and country. Disappointing for Chelsea that Pernille Harder isn't fit enough to start. She's missed the last 6 games. Canadian Olympic gold medalist Jessie Fleming deputises, as she did in their 5-0 win over Birmingham just before the international break. That one changed from that side as Gabby was talking about. Sophie Ingle, a 2012 runner-up for Birmingham against Chelsea, is preferred to the long-serving Drew Spence. Sam Kerr comes into this on the back of a hat-trick against Birmingham. Their third cup final against the Gunners, 1 win apiece. Arsenal won the WSL meeting on opening day this season, 3-2. That was the first win for them in 9 clashes against Chelsea. A very big day for the referee, Helen Conley, from the Durham Football Association. It's the first time she's taken charge of a cup final. Lisa Rashid and Emily Heaslett. She's from Suffolk. Lisa's from the Birmingham FA, and Mel Burgeon, the other officials today. Lisa and Mel running the lines. They're involved in their second final. She's had a good season, actually, Helen Conley, and deservedly here today. No Pernilla Harder from the start, though, Rachel.
But what ammunition that is for Chelsea to bring off the bench. And we talked about the lineups, but it's not just the starting 11, it is that depth. And you look at Chelsea, that is something that Emma Hayes over a period of the last 5 or 6 years has looked to improve on, is the depth of her squad, knowing that successful team wants to fight on all fronts. And this being the first one of the season, the FA Cup final.
Well, when they were here the other year, Emma Hayes was very heavily pregnant on a very warm day, you'll remember. She looks a lot cooler today than she did that day, when we thought we were going to have an event not particularly planned at Wembley Stadium. And we're almost ready to go today, with Arsenal in the red and white and kicking from right to left then on an immaculate looking pitch, well manicured. And the referee checks both assistants. And we have a moment of almost quiet as the players of both sides, the match officials and the game officials, take the knee. Listen to this. Well, I hope you heard that reaction. There was a cheer from everyone here for that, which is great and hugely encouraging in the battle against racism. Off we go then, with that strong Arsenal midfield that Alex was talking about. First touch in there from Marnham. Walty and Kim Little, of course, so strong in there. And Catley down the left-hand side. Just watch for her combinations with Katie McCabe, who's often running now and expecting the ball down the line. It's intercepted, though, by Erin Cuthbert, who will play at right wing-back for Chelsea this season. A foul is given against her. It's an important role to play for Chelsea. They've slightly amended their centre-back trio as the season's gone on. They started with Millie Bright in the middle and Jess Carter the right-hand side, but Millie's gone to the right now of the three, and she delivers a fantastic pass out from there. Watch for her diagonal deliveries from the back for Chelsea.
Yeah, the old back three of Chelsea are very comfortable on the ball, and they can use that direct pass forwards.
The Chelsea players are involved in the recent internationals. They're on the attack, and they look for one of the finest of them all. And Kirby in the box just sails over the head of the 10-goal scorer this season. Sam Kerr has 14. Kira Wrighton on that left-hand side, she was the player coming in. She has a couple, but she's very dangerous in her supply. She's started 3 of the last 4, the Norwegian international.
I remember working with Emma Hayes at the last international tournament, and she was trying to sign Guro Reiten. That was out in France, and she did eventually sign Guro Reiten. She didn't play in the first season probably as much as Chelsea fans would have expected, but she's been key to their success this season.
Just eludes Millie Bright. Goes through to Ann-Katrin Berger, the German international, on the bench in their last 2 games. They've got a fantastic defensive record at Chelsea at this moment in time of not conceding goals. I think it's 6 in a row now without conceding a goal. 593 minutes going into this since Barbara Bonansea scored for Juventus. Chelsea on the attack. Here's Kirby through, and Kirby scores. And it's in the 3rd minute of the game, and Chelsea are ahead. It's the 3rd time a goal has been scored in the 3rd minute of an FA Cup final, and it's Fran Kirby who gets it.
You can see what Chelsea are doing when Arsenal were in possession, whether it's from the goalkeeper or the defence. They set a high press. Frank Kirby, Erin Cuthbert, Jessie Fleming, Sam Kerr, all of them were pressing high, saying, go on, play out the back and we'll try and nick it off you. They turned over possession, a ball played through. And if you want, it's Jessie Fleming gets it, turned over by Frida Marnham. Sam Kerr reacts first, and who do you want running at you? It is not Frank Kirby if you are in the Arsenal goal. What a present that is for Frank Kirby, who, off of the back of severe illness last season, has been sensational for Chelsea this season. And what a way to start this game.
3 FA Cup ties she's played in this run, 3 goals she has. The earliest FA Cup final score since Steph Houghton for Arsenal against Bristol, the Bristol Academy side, back in 2013.
That's a cool finish so early on in the game from Frank Kirby, but that's the appetite she's had for goal scoring. She's back to her best, we all know that.
Yes, terrific. She had such illness problems round about World Cup 19 time, and she said she could hardly get out of bed. She lacked any sort of energy, and when it was diagnosed, she felt like a zombie. She said she had pericarditis. Took a while before she was back to full fitness, and goodness me, she's so sharp at the moment. 6 goals in 5 games, but you can go beyond that. She has scored 184 senior goals in 218 games, but here's a worry with Sam Kerr down.
Yeah, she's certainly a tough player, Sam Kerr. It's not often that we see her requiring treatment. Just see Guro Reiten and Frank Kirby there having a little discussion across their roles, and it's Lotte Wubben-Moy who just catches Sam Kerr. They're seeing here again, what a clinical finish from Frank Kirby. I mean, central down that middle of the Arsenal defence, getting beyond them, just that little touch. So clever.
Sweet and sour, though, because it was that tackle on Sam Kerr that's left her down from the build-up in the goal. The impact injury. She's got 14 goals this season. Australian superstar, voted 3rd in the world in the recent Ballon d'Or.
And it's the impact, though, isn't it, Jonathan, that she has as a combination between her and Frank Kirby. They have been an unstoppable duo.
144 goals they have now for Chelsea between them. And there's a pensive Chelsea coach, because well, Chelsea have players who can come into lots of positions and do a very good job, and certainly Bethany England could come on for them if Sam Kerr can't continue at full fitness, and she's struggling there as she comes back on. There is just the one Sam Kerr. There is no one quite like her in the world. That's a foul by Jennifer Beattie. And she's brought down Melanie Leupolz. Been on 4 occasions. Jennifer Beattie a couple of times with the Arsenal, a couple of times with Manchester City. Number of goals she scored against Chelsea for City, actually, a few years back now. Kerr, it's all Chelsea. Kirby, Kerr, this could almost finish it. Early on, straight at the keeper. Anywhere but there, and it would have been 2-0 to Chelsea in the cup final. Could well have been won and lost. There's another burly challenge there as well.
We can see what this game means to both teams, but tell you what, Emma Hayes was stinging after that opening day defeat in the WSL at the Emirates, when Arsenal and Jonas Eidevall's first game brought the game to Chelsea. I think it left them stunned in some respects, and this game is retribution in some ways, I would expect, for Emma Hayes and her team. Fortunate this one, great save from Zinsberger actually, to be able to stand up big, but you would expect Sam Kerr to just slot that one side of the goalkeeper, as potent a finisher as she is. And as important as Sam Kerr is to Chelsea, Beth Mead is to Arsenal.
Absolutely. Ever present this season. Couple of goals for Chelsea, for Arsenal against Chelsea. In that game you were talking about at the start of the season, she scored 8 goals against Chelsea in her career. Free kick into the box, looking for Kirby in there. All the pressure is on Arsenal.
You often start games, you think, oh, both teams are going to set off and get the feelers out and just wait and see. None of that. None of that. Both teams have absolutely hit the ground running.
Run away from Sam Kerr. Beth Mead was cautioned for the foul, by the way. Missed time challenge. Deserved the yellow. We're only in the game for a yellow card.
And she's certainly a player who does not shun a challenge. She'll be wanting to do less in her own defensive third, though, and more in Chelsea's defensive third. She's been sensational. Probably, I would suggest, Beth Mead's best season so far this year.
She's been sensational in this competition, 4 goals and 4 ties. It's been a meandering run because, as Gabby was saying early on, this is the 2021 final, delayed from last spring because of the backup of games due to COVID. Arsenal have beaten Gillingham, Crystal Palace, Tottenham and Brighton in the semi-final to get here. And they're just beginning now to get a toehold in the game. Katie McCabe. There's Noel Maritz, the Newport Beach, California-born Swiss international. Beattie, and the great Beattie sporting clan in Scottish rugby and Lions rugby. He's a very animated manager, is the Arsenal box, Jonas Eidevall. And that passion he displays on the touchline doesn't go down well at all times with opposition managers.
Anyone in particular?
Well, Chelsea lost to them 3-2 at the start of the season. And I don't think he won too many. I don't think we get too many Christmas cards from Chelsea management.
It was that contest was unbelievable. The fire and it was a wonderful day. You know, the whole spectacle was unbelievable. I was there, and it was such a joy to watch, to see the quality of play on the day. You said the enthusiasm. It was welcome to the league, Jonas Eidevall, and welcome to an instant rivalry between the two managers and two teams.
There is Emma Hayes, who scored that day through Erin Cuthbert and Pernilla Harder. Beth Mead with the 2, and Vivian Miedema scored for Arsenal that day. 10 trophies in her time as Chelsea manager, their most successful ever. Squeezed away by Leah Velti, one of their Swiss internationals. Here's Lotte Wubben-Moy, qualified for the Netherlands, but an England international. Recently in that game against Latvia, the 20-0 victory. Which, on another subject, Rachel, I don't think does any good for women's football whatsoever, a game like that, to be honest. It's a great win for England, of course, but
it doesn't. What it does do is put out there for everyone to see the disparity between teams and ultimately what is the financial backing of both sets of teams. And something needs to be done about the financial backing of the team that was exposed on that night, which is the Latvian women.
UEFA and FIFA above them are to pump money into these countries for women's football, then they've got to ensure the money is spent on coaches right at the start, and in involvement at school level for women footballers, young girls. Is Jennifer Beattie. Sorry, Rachel.
No, on that note, so much has been done in our country since I started playing at the age of 15, when there weren't girls' teams for me to join, to where we are now, seeing this stadium full of people, a pre-show as it would have been a men's game, live on TV at Wembley, best players in the whole world, fully professional league. There are so many things that we can say to see how women's football in this country has transformed. It can be done.
First final of this competition played at Crystal Palace National Sports Centre. Things have moved on, and Arsenal moving forward here now, and the shot from range was by Vivian Miedema in her last season before her contract ends at Arsenal. That's a worry, and the ball played out wide to the left was inaccurate.
Been looking at Katie McCabe, barely had a touch today. We're looking at why that is. When Chelsea are out of possession, Erin Cuthbert is player-to-player marking her. She comes as a back 4, drops in, and Katie McCabe playing left wing-back for Arsenal has barely had a touch. He's been so influential in goal scoring and assists, in that defensive role as well for Arsenal, but not a sniff today.
Ingle, such a good player. And Kirby, and looks for Kerr. Chelsea look dangerous every time they come forward. Kerr playing it slightly behind Fran Kirby. He wouldn't carry through to Guro Reiten. And Arsenal will now look to play out Freedom Arnhem, better passer than that, normally the Norwegian international. Not particularly protecting the ball, Arsenal. That first year, by the way, the first recorded ever FA Cup tie in women's football, Leicester City supporters against the Wandering Angels. Final, Southampton won by 4-1 against Stuart and Thistle. Far cry from these days, Ingle back covering. First 3 finals had Scottish teams in them, Rachel, actually. They were allowed to compete in those days. If you want to find out more about the history of the Women's Cup final, then a great read is The History of the Women's Cup Final by Chris Legg and Patricia Gregory, who are former colleagues of ours at the BBC, and Patricia worked tirelessly over the years. Fantastic, fantastic dedicated servant to the women's game. It's going to be away now. And the Arsenal goalkeeper Zinsberger, the busier of the two by far. Here's Kim Little, who's a game changer. Wonderful player. And Catley out wide again to McKay. And left of the front three, Mead on the right, Miedemar through the middle. Catley back then to Beattie. Sit on the bench for a couple of her cup final successes, Jennifer Beattie. As the ball is switched away to the header out by Cuthbert, who's had a fine season for Chelsea. Does a good job wherever she's asked to play. McKay can get the cross in. No, she doesn't. Plays it to Miedemar. And maybe they overplayed it, Rachel. Got a corner, mind you.
Yeah, a little bit, but Erin Cuthbert stuck to her job. And Arsenal have sort of rode out the storm of, or the whirlwind start that Chelsea had, and some good synchronised play. Who else? Miedemar, nearly that 1-2 with Kim Little played off, but she hustled enough with Miedemar to force Erin Cuthbert into conceding a corner, and Katie McCabe on the corners. This could be very effective for Arsenal.
And a swing out. BT will have a run from the edge of the penalty area. Miedemar's furthest out to the edge of the penalty area.
Moy a target too.
Mead is in the 6-yard box. Right in front of the Chelsea supporters, this. It's on the way. Deep and disappointing. Little tries to head it back into the mix. Carr out. BT stoops. And this is Steph Catley. And the Australians in the team. Katie McCabe, the Irish international, looks for Mead. Pickle there, they got in each other's way for Arsenal. McCabe and I think it was Marnham. Katie McCabe has dropped back deep to pick it up once again. It's been a sensational start by both of these sides domestically. Arsenal 16 wins in 18 games this season, 1 defeat in that time came against the European champions Barcelona. 56 goals this season, just the 10 conceded. And Chelsea, of course, unbeaten in 13, 8 league wins in a row. They're not conceding, they're scoring a bundle, and that's another hefty challenge. The referee will have a little word here with Erin Cuthbert.
I'd like to think she'll use common sense, the referee there. It's an FA Cup final. That is going to happen all day long between those two players who leave nothing to chance, leave nothing on the pitch whatsoever. That's going to be a stunning battle right under our noses here.
BT gets it away for Arsenal. Comes out to Fleming, into Kirby. It should have been 2. It's offside anyway, wouldn't have counted Samka. The second one, mind you, she sits straight at the goalkeeper, went in a good scoring chance.
Certainly was offside, just that little layoff. It's a lovely ball. Arsenal should have dealt with that first and foremost. Too easy for Fleming to be able to slip in Fran Kirby, and then Fran Kirby unselfishly tries to square it, and it was the right decision by the referee. We've no VAR here today, but we do have goal line technology.
We do.
Which is an advancement, first time. Women's FA Cup final, we've had that.
Things are moving on at a pace. This comes Magdalena Eriksson, so secure at the back for Chelsea for so long, the Swedish international. Captain of the side, started 13 times this season. Only missed the one game. Cup winner for Chelsea, cup winner for Linköpings in Swedish football. McCabe, dummy by Miedema. With Nicholas in that pocket of space just behind her, wearing 10 and playing the 10 role.
That was a lovely run, a lovely over from Miedema. I could see what intentions were. Kim Little couldn't control that ball from McCabe.
It's a lovely ball forward, and this time the flag stays down for Sam Kerr. She's had a look, might have to do it all her own. Now Frank Kirby, that might have been a penalty, you know. That might be revisited. That's a good save by Zinsberger. The referee might check the assistant on this near side, no VAR. The assistant hasn't signalled penalty though. So on we go.
Great ball from Erin Cuthbert. What they're doing is they are taking advantage of Leah Williamson being out, part of that central partnership with Robin Moy. Jem Beattie doesn't have the pace that Leah Williamson does. That ball is on. Great cutback from Sam Kerr. Is that a penalty? It is. Should be, but it's not.
It is a corner. First of the game for Chelsea. Headed away at the near post by Beth Mead. Now here's Sophie Ingle, the Welsh international. Euro Wrighton with the cross into the box. Looking at that far post. And there's a shot by Leupolz. Sailed over. She has got a couple of goals this season in this competition for Chelsea against London City, against Manchester City as well. They are creating the game's chances, that's for sure. And they've got quality players on the bench as well to come on.
I think it's the first time I've seen Emma Hayes come off of her bench. That penalty decision will have riled her. She knows her team should be 2-0 up. Arguably, they deserve that. Not just with the penalty decision that was not given, but with their dominance that they've had. Just seeing their Leupolz. But here we go, this is the one. Sam Kerr has presence of mind to cut it back. Jem Beattie is fully committed. Absolutely wipes out Sam Kerr.
Should have pulled that back, even though they had the shot on goal. And here's Catley. And McCabe. And that's the first piece of work that Ann-Katrin Berger's had to do.
First time really Katie McCabe's been able to get any form of crossing, just runs off the outside of Cuthbert, recognises Cuthbert that Millie Bright stepped out to press her, covers her exceptionally well. Ann-Katrin Berger has been a big player for Chelsea since she signed from Birmingham. Some of the saves, the game-changing saves that she has made at critical times, in the Champions League particularly.
4 years ago she was diagnosed with thyroid cancer and she was back playing within 2 months, so a remarkable character. And since I've been involved in commentating on women's football, what, eight years now it is, I've come across so many remarkable stories, you know, of heartache, of loneliness, of anxiety, overcoming mental problems, and great to see that these players are now being able to express themselves.
Well, Jem Beattie on the pitch recently, within the last 18 months, has been through breast cancer and treatment for that. And here she is in an FA Cup final, leading out her team. Sensational.
And it was lovely listening to some of your stories when we were at the European Championship finals in 2017. I couldn't make out a lot of what you were saying because it was quite late at night, and you'd had a couple too many lemonades, I think.
I think you must be mistaking me for Sue Smith.
No, you're not a problem child. Now, Emma Hayes is unhappy with the way the game is suddenly developed because Arsenal are finding inroads into the game. The throw was too low, the ball was too long for Vivian Miedema. 15 goals in 19 games for club and country. This is scored in the last 3. And main hope for him to get goals today. He should play in the last 2 rounds. Scored a couple of goals earlier on in the competition. We have 2 FA Cup finals in the women's game this particular season. This is, we say, in the 2021 final, and Arsenal are now beginning to get more than just a toehold in the game. McCabe. Again giving support. It's Miedema. Trying to open her body and bend it.
Lovely build-up play. 1 touch, 2 touch. There's that almost telepathic knowledge of where a player is going to be. It's about checking, looking before you receive the ball so you know where your next pass is going. Viv Miedema is so effective. We tend to see her in the box, being on the end of Katie McCabe crosses, Beth Mead crosses.
No secret that Lyon wanted her to go to French football last season. But Arsenal need to secure the long-term future of Vivianne Miedema, the top scorer in WSL history. BBC Women's Footballer of the Year named on Monday.
It would seem crazy for Arsenal to not secure her services for the foreseeable.
And she's on the ball now. Dispossessed by Jess Carter. Another player who's had a good season, Jess Carter, really sort of a breakthrough season for Chelsea. Played a regular role for them in that back 3, recently played for England. And the second and third caps and scored in that big win against Latvia. Out by Ingle. Fleming. There's Kirby. And Skura right in the way on that left-hand side. Sam Kerr through the middle. And Arsenal are flooding back, but very slowly. Little step over. Opportunity for Kirby. Good save. She's having a very, very good final, the Arsenal goalkeeper, Zinsberger.
That was an excellent save from Zinsberger, because when you look at it, Sam Kerr had all the time in the world to pick a spot, and that ball was going right in the corner. When we see this replay now, Wrighton squares it back. Oh, it's Fran Kirby, apologies. She moves her feet so well, Zinsberger. Look how she gets her feet moving. Been able to take off then and cover what would have been a goal into the side netting. Perfect placement. Excellent goalkeeping.
Austrian goalkeeper played against England recently. Left it with the corner kick. What a free header! And it really should have been too. Bad miss by the captain. They are creating so many chances, and the worrying thing for Arsenal is that they're just not coping at set pieces. In the previous one, Rachel, they were so sluggish in getting back as well. Players were jogging and not sprinting.
Well, we saw how Chelsea suffered when their captain and centre-half Eriksson was out of the team. And I think similarly, now Leah Williamson for Arsenal, centre-half and captain of the team, and current captain of England, is out of the team. I think these are signs of what she brings.
This is an opportunity though. Now McCabe couldn't get there. Ooh! Interesting to see that one again. Just an opportunity for McCabe, and out came Berger. And there was a little twitch of a foot that's not good to see.
Nah, there's nothing in that. I mean, if you thought that this game was just a game, it's not. There's a real fierce rivalry between these teams. You know, a lot of these players will go away international duty together and have to play together. But that doesn't mean that there's no love lost. That there is absolutely no love lost on an event like today.
Goalkeeper kept her cool. Most international goalkeepers do. I mean, you wouldn't want to be an international goalkeeper who lost your temper and got sent off for your country, would you?
That would be the pits, wouldn't it? I mean,
certainly would. But anyway, you can Google it, you know. See Rachel's past misdemeanours.
I'll have you know that that one slip-up was actually rescinded. No, it was rescinded, so it doesn't exist, Jonathan.
And you were provoked. I thought you were provoked.
Thankfully, refereeing has moved on since then.
Oh, goodness me, needed to. Here's Kirby. Right on that left-hand side. Look at the space, look at the space here. Arsenal are in real trouble in the FA Cup final. Oh, she couldn't clear her feet. The chance may well have gone. And in the end, the Arsenal just about cleared away. Lotte Ruben-Moy We've been helped out by Noel Moritz. Moritz has now given it away. She knows how big a chance that was.
Chance after chance after chance, this time for Wright, and here, just hits it. Touch, hits it. Oh, he gets stuck under her feet and she can't get a strike off. At times, this front three or front four, however many players fully forward, have been too unselfish for Chelsea.
She's going in the competition against Everton on the run. She's having a good run of starts as well. The Norwegian international got a couple for her country recently in games against Armenia and Albania. They beat Armenia 10-0. And another chance now for Chelsea. It's Kirby with a shot that's deflected off Jennifer Beattie, who came to the ball.
What?
Did get the block in.
What a touch this is from Leupolz. I mean, Fran Kirby, fantastic running, but look at this from Leupolz. Takes it down right foot, nearly sells Jen Beattie. Jen Beattie actually shepherds her really well. Sets it down for Fran Kirby, and it's a good block overall from Arsenal, but they're hanging on by a thread, Arsenal.
It's a corner kick here for Chelsea. Placed by me. Back in again into the mix, looking for Leupolz at the far side.
Emma Hayes will be not furious, but she'll be unsettled at a team not converting the chances. She'll be out there instrumenting things. She wants her team to put this game to bed.
What can they do here, Arsenal, Rachel, to get some authority back into their play in an FA Cup final? Well, here they have possession on the right-hand side with Marix, looking for Beth Mead. She's absolutely key. Eriksson has gone out wide to her. She's bypassed her and forces the corner kick. And that's what Arsenal need to do, give it to Beth Mead.
They do. Clearly, in possession, you want to use the Arsenal that you have, as in the ammunition that you have, and that is Beth Mead and it's Katie McCabe, but defensively Chelsea are countering them excellently well. When you're in possession, when Chelsea are in possession, they have to stop the ball getting to Fran Kirby.
Only half an hour played, corner ball for Arsenal. Ruben Moyes and their Beattie is in a rather flat and disappointing again. And it was eased away for Chelsea by Eriksson. Organisation at the back very secure. Eriksson gets it away with the header. She's got Whiten dropping back for support, and all the way there through that build-up, Millie Bright and Jess Carter were looking along the line, really well organised. Ingle forward, but with half an hour gone, Rachel, and total Chelsea dominance, the worry for them is it's only 1-0.
Yeah, and largely that's down to Chelsea almost not being incisive enough with that finish. You expect players like Sam Kerr, the one-on-one chance she had, to just slot that in to the corner. Fran Kirby's had a chance. You could easily be 3-0 up by now, Chelsea, and Arsenal would have no arguments.
There's Ruben Moy. Well, there's annoying people who seem to be very good at everything. Good netball player, good 800 metres runner. Sister's a very good dancer from the ballerina. And here's Chelsea on the attack again. Kirby. Will get it away. Good footballer. Miedemar. They've got an opportunity here, Arsenal, because Miedemar's isolated one-on-one with Millie Bright. Touch let her down.
Look how many players around her though, Jonathan. 6 players, all within 15 yards of Miedemar. How quickly they regain their shape defensively, Chelsea.
Chelsea look the more cohesive team. Arsenal making more collective and individual errors, and Chelsea look the fitter and stronger team. There's a long way to go.
Yeah, that turnover of play. So when Arsenal regain possession, you've got the likes of Miedemar running with the ball, Katie McCabe running with the ball. They've got Ingle and Leupolz, so quick to add to their defensive back line. They drop in, add extra numbers, swarm that midfield, and just sort of choke any attack that's central.
Fran Kirby scored against Arsenal in the 18 final. She's done it again. And lead this by a goal to nil. Their fifth final was in 15 and 2017-18. Runners up in 11-12 and 15-16. Razored into the box. Millie Bright.
Well struck effort there from Millie Bright.
We've seen her score spectacular goals in the past.
Yeah, right foot, left foot. She's become a key player, hasn't she, for both her club and the country, Millie Bright.
Hasn't scored any sort of goal this season. Scored a brilliant goal in the Community Shield here for Chelsea. I seem to remember.
Similar territory, wasn't it?
Yeah, come on in leaps and bounds. I think since World Cup 19, you know, that ended dismally for her in the semi-defeat. She was sent off, but since then, I think she's really matured as a player.
Talk about her playing partner next to her there, who's just on the ball, Jess Carter. It's been a transformative last 12 months for Jess Carter. She came in really back end of last season for Chelsea when Marimi Elder was out, defensive player, and Eriksson was out, and they were playing in the latter stages of the Champions League and they got to the final, and Jess Carter had not played really for the majority of the 3 years she'd been at Chelsea, and since then has cemented herself as a starter in the squad and in the starting 11, and made that central of the back three position her own.
She made her debut against Arsenal for Birmingham. She was absolutely terrific in that game. I think it was a European game, if I seem to remember. What can Arsenal do here? Leah Volti and Ruben Moy. Well, they are so disjointed. It has been a bitterly disappointing FA Cup final. There's Jess Carter.
They don't have the wide option. Kate McCabe is kind of coming a bit more central to try and shirk off Erin Cuthbert. Beth Mead's not getting any joy, and that is main. That, from a width point of view, is Arsenal's main points of attack. If you're negating those opportunities, you're negating what Arsenal do best.
Ingle forward. Straight foot race here. Ruben Moy, pressurised by Kerr, is allowed to go on. Sam Kerr hits the woodwork. Chelsea, no exaggeration, could have had 4 or 5.
Well, I thought that was an inevitability. Just shrugged off the ball, out-muscled Ruben Moy. And how on earth, great timing of the little nudge there. I mean, you can't argue that it's not a foul, that is just contact. Sam Kerr, she's done that 1,000 times when the ball's been bobbling around. But to miss from that distance, she had a ropey start to her Chelsea career, as chances like that did go astray.
Against Birmingham just before the break, as we were saying before that international break, when she played a couple of times for Australia against the USA, Miedema's foul. She was used very sparingly by the Netherlands in the international break. With this in mind,
her role in this game so far has been reminiscent of, remember, her role for the Netherlands, in that she's doing a lot of defending from the front, a lot of additional running. The best Vivianne Miedema is having her in the box. She's such a potent and composed finisher.
it wouldn't surprise me if Beth Mead goes for goal here with her right foot. She'll whip this in fiercely, I think. Oh no, she plays it rather deeper, and it's a good punch under pressure there by Katzenberger. Here's Kim Little. Hasn't been able to influence the FA Cup final as Arsenal would have hoped. One of the best British players ever, the 140-time capped Scottish international. Blow for Scotland when she announced her retirement. Arsenal have not got her on the ball. Here's Catley. Jem Beattie. Been used fairly sparingly for Scotland recently. I think she picked up a little bit of an injury against the Ukraine. Went off early on. Half-time, I think it was. Here she is. Catley. Mead has stayed wide on the left-hand side, having taken that free kick. An interesting development if they have switched McCabe and Mead for a period of time. Here is Beth Mead. 37 minutes gone. Combining there with Catley and Mead. Back to that right foot. Crosses left-footed though and forces the corner.
Certainly worth a tactical swap. Neither were having particular joy, both getting a little bit frustrated, Katie McCabe and Beth Mead. Doing that allows a natural left footer on the right-hand side to be able to cut in and potentially take a shot. And the same with Beth Mead. We've seen what she can do from this left-hand side with her right foot. She scores goals, she provides an amazing amount of assists that she has added to her game for Arsenal.
Comes back here to Catley with the cross into the box. Miscued header out by Carter. Arsenal now can press. Cross away by Millie Bright. And the clearance lifted out by Kirby. Here's Leah Velti. She's going against West Ham in this run. She's played the last 3 ties, Leah Velti, in the cup competition. Been a regular throughout this campaign. Strong, competitive Arsenal midfield. But of course the talent of Kim Little, the jewel in there. Second spell for Arsenal. Comes across from Carter, heads it away, and as far as Frida Marnham couldn't get the shot off. Might have hit her hand actually. Certainly there was an appeal by Leupolz.
Certainly Catley down this left-hand side has been a lot higher in this last 5 minutes since the switch Katie McCabe and Beth Mead have made. Catley is higher up. I would imagine Maritz is higher up, the other full-back for Arsenal.
A chance here now. Mead against Cuthbert on the outside. There's a little check back. That hit a hand. That hit a hand. Definitely hit a hand for me. Cuthbert was slithering on the ground. It was from close range. The referee didn't want to know. Little. This is a corner kick here now. Well, Arsenal appealing for a penalty.
Well, it certainly hit a hand. Really intelligent play from Beth Mead there. That's a penalty. That doesn't have to be intentional. Her arm is in an unnatural position on the outside of her body. It hits her arm. Beth Mead stops, impedes play. Oh.
The only thing I can think the referee's thinking is that as Cuthbert slid on the ground, she's using her arm to brace herself, which an interpretation that wouldn't be given as a penalty, but I think it should have been anyway. Here's once again Mead, real influence now. Tactical switch by the Arsenal coaches, certainly paying dividends early on here since they've made that move. So dangerous, ever present for Arsenal this season, 6 goals. Got a hat-trick in 20 minutes against Latvia for England. Kerr, out-muscled, don't often see that. Leupolz couldn't clear it away, left a foot in there late. It's a free kick for Arsenal, who were having their best spell of the game.
Clever play from the Arsenal player. Feels that contact is about to happen, and Katie McCabe makes the most of that. Earns a free kick for a team from a very dangerous position. There'll be a quality of players who'll be wanting to take this one. Miedema, Little, Mead, McCabe. Take your pick.
There's a little huddle with 4 around the ball. We're 3.5 minutes away from half-time.
Interesting distance, this one. I've talked about the women's game maybe having a draft excluder. They're not the tallest of walls. Should you have that? Should you have 5 in your wall, as Anne-Katrin has gone with?
Marnham leaves it. Might get the rebound. It wasn't the best of free kicks. Hit that wall. And we'll get it in second time. And it's all the way through, and they've got a chance here now. Arsenal. Miedema on the edge of the 6-yard area. They couldn't pick her out. Millie Bright got it away.
Beth Mead was unmarked at the back post. If Wilburn Moy could have just picked her out at the back post,
much better now from Arsenal's point of view, but Beattie has taken it away from Zinsberger under pressure from Kerr. She got out of jail just
miscommunication there, wasn't it, between the two? Beattie clearly had said, I'm taking control of the situation. Zinsberger clearly said she was taking control of the situation. But thankfully, from an Arsenal perspective, nothing major happened from that. But they do certainly look much better, Arsenal, causing Chelsea far more problems. I think because Erin Cuthbert has basically been there to fill in as a back four, as a right back when Arsenal are on the attack. Beth Mead is causing her more problems. She has more speed than Katie McCabe. She's probably a little bit more agile. Erin Cuthbert's got to think about cutting on her right foot rather than showing her down her left. Good switch from Edeval.
Most of the half it has panned out as a 4-4-2 for Arsenal. The way that Cuthbert has played on this right-hand side. Normally she's the right wing back and right into the left, but it hasn't played out like that, has it?
No, I mean, out of possession, that is the tactic, certainly. You can see that Eriksson is given licence. We've always got three at the back for Chelsea. Eriksson steps up, stays higher. Stay three at the back.
Chelsea looking to get away, and that's a foul on Beth Mead, and I wonder if that's going to be a yellow.
Has to be. Beth Mead would have been away there. Whether Erin Cuthbert...
She's hurt.
I mean, it was certainly contact, a collision between the two, but I would imagine it would be a yellow card to Erin Cuthbert. It was a lovely ball into space down the wing.
Holding her shin just below the knee.
Yeah, you see all the space that Bubba Moy has there. Lets it roll across the body, Beth Mead, and she was away. Great angle here, you can see. Beth Mead's clever because she's anticipating the contact. She knows that if she goes over, she'll get a foul and potentially a yellow card against Erin Cuthbert. She knows if she doesn't go over that she's going to fly into that space down the channel, Beth Mead.
It's just an impact injury. She'll be okay. It was a twist. It could be more problematic.
She's a key player for Chelsea, Erin Cuthbert. Today, more so on a defensive role. On other days, it's supply to the front two.
She's going to come back on. 3 minutes of stoppage time. Here's Beattie. We do have a Dutch international on the bench, right full back in Annick Noven.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, should Erin Cuthbert carry on, do they replace Erin Cuthbert with an attacking player, or do they replace her with a flat back four and bring in Nouwen?
Jonas Eidevall will go in at half-time if he stays on this and said, look, we had a nightmarish half hour, absolutely nightmarish half hour, but you've shown in the last 15 minutes of the half you've got every ability to come back into this game.
They have the created chances. What they still haven't done is tested Ann-Katrin Berger, so they haven't got that final bit, and they keep conceding chances.
And they've given the ball away again here. It's a run by Kirby, and she's looked for Kerr, and she's given her far too much to do. Fleming was open on the right-hand side for Chelsea, and another chance has come and gone.
Yeah, Sam Kerr again. That one was Frank Kirby just too heavy on the ball. Sure that Emma Hayes at half-time will be telling her front three, if you get half a yard, get your shot off. Doesn't always have to be perfect, a goal.
Chelsea, 7 of the 2018 starting lineup when they won 3-1 against the Arsenal. 5 of Arsenal's starters that day are still at the club, plus Katie McCabe. She came on as a substitute, I seem to remember. Arsenal froze that day, simply froze. Put her on by Kerr. Rance has misplaced her header. Wrighton has misplaced her pass behind Kirby and Fleming. And here's Miedema. Look how deep she is. Mead. Foul against Newport. The way the ball travelled, I thought she might have touched it.
Certainly flawed, Leah Valti. See the replay. My initial instinct was there was no foul there. Arsenal have been too pedestrian on the ball there. From the back four, they've been hustled. From the midfield, really, Marnham and Valti have not had the impact that we've seen in other games. That's because ultimately they've not had the time on the ball to be able to pick a pass out.
Jennifer Beattie, over 100 games for the club in her 2 spells. And Chelsea lead at half-time in the 2021 Women's FA Cup final. Fran Kirby, in the opening 3 minutes of play, had put them ahead before they missed a plethora of chances. Good saves by Zinsberger. You'll appreciate her performance, Rachel, but it's Chelsea who lead at the moment.
Zinsberger's kept them in it, simple as that, as have been the spurn chances that Chelsea have missed. Sam Kerr, Fran Kirby, Guro Reiten, all had chances that should really have put this game out of sight. Jonas Eidevall should be just happy and telling his team they are still in it. 45 minutes to go.
Key players in good areas of the pitch. I don't think they've played the Arsenal way that they've been doing this season. I think once they find their rhythm, you'll see a more entertaining game and more end-to-end game for Arsenal-Chelsea.
Well, there's a woman who can change a game, Vivian Miedema, and she knows she has it in her locker. She has the skill and she has the experience to turn this round for Arsenal in the second half. But Emma Hayes, I'm pretty sure, would have also said to her team, listen, you had so many chances there. You've got to go out with the same intensity, the same tempo in the second half.
And no regrets. Don't let this one come back and haunt you. Keep pressing Arsenal, keep making them make those mistakes and finish your chances.
Well, there they come. They've let Arsenal get out first. Arsenal in a huddle on the pitch, but Chelsea, Fran Kirby there, their goal scorer, and Sam Kerr, who should have had at least 2 in that first half behind her, the Australian international, will be desperate to hit the back of the net as well in the second half. Let's rejoin your commentary team now for this second half. Former Everton goalkeeper Rachel Brown-Finnis and Jonathan Pearce.
Thanks very much, Gabby. Can't see any changes in the Arsenal 11 as they come out, nor the Chelsea 11 as they come out to the right-hand side, so they'll be kicking towards their supporters in this second half and looking to extend that 1-0 lead. Totally deserved, should have been 4 or 5 at least, and both teams have had a good penalty shout turned down by the referee. There's the goal scorer, Fran Kirby, netted in 2018 in the final and netted again here today against the Arsenal, who were so far off colour in the first half. It was unbelievable. They've had a brilliant season, Arsenal, and yet they were way off the mark. And don't forget, Chelsea have gone 6 games without conceding a goal, 638 minutes now without conceding a goal. Side.
Good mathematics there, Jonathan.
Probably wrong.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Kim Little staying a little bit higher for Arsenal, Frida Marnham being given that more roving role, being able to attack, and seeing Leah Valti, the kind of more defensive midfielder of the 3, sitting on top of the back 4, add a little bit of defensive solidity.
There she was, Leah Valti. That's the way they've lined up. And Valti just in front of the centre-backs, but they've missed out here for Fran Kirby. Right start by Chelsea as they started the first. Look how high on the left-hand side Lynn Eriksson was. Here's Kirby.
Yeah, that's what they do. They keep 3 at the back, and whether it's Aaron Cuthbert who slides on and pushes really high up, or whether it's Eriksson who does the same on this left-hand side. They've started exactly how they started the first half, Chelsea, in Arsenal's faces.
Took so long for Arsenal really to get out in the first half. 25-30 minutes, then they had the good spell, but as Gabby was saying at half-time, they haven't had a shot on target. 1-2 played, returned to Kirby by right, and a little bit too much pace on it.
Yeah, and even as much progress as Arsenal made, they still look vulnerable at the back. A long or direct ball to Sam Kerr, Fran Kirby. Their pace was really catching Arsenal back line off guard.
Lionesses fans will hope that Fran Kirby is amongst the goals in the European Championship final here next summer. Serena Wigman will certainly hope that, the England coach. She's here somewhere, we believe.
What an exciting tournament that is in prospect. 2005, when we last hosted the Women's European Championships, I was up in the Northwest. I was a part of that, and it was an amazing opportunity to see fans from all over the country get involved. But it'll be something quite different this time around.
Jennifer Beattie. Right then to Catley. To get McCabe away. By Minnie Bright. Now Beattie. Bounce up Emma Hayes, thought it hit an arm. She immediately appealed. And Bright again clears it away. Next goal in the Women's FA Cup final of 2021, absolutely crucial. Here's Miedemar looking for the run into the box. It was a good run into the box as well. Kim Little does that so well, so often. Just slid away from her in the end.
Yeah, positive for Arsenal fans, seeing Kim Little higher up. Too many times in the first half, Miedemar was isolated, was having to drop deep. She does on this occasion, but she has those attacking runs, those runs in advance. And as you described her in the opening minutes of this game, Kim Little is a game changer and has been for so many years. For Arsenal, for Team GB, for the Scottish national team.
And experience in FA Cup finals as well. Twice a winner in 2011 when she scored, 2013 as well. Rachel Yankee is the most successful individual player in the competition, by the way. 11 victories with Arsenal, 9, a couple with Fulham. Down that right-hand side by Cuthbert. And here's Kirby, looking for the Scottish international again. It breaks down there. Arsenal can't get it away and retain possession. Nothing to suggest the pattern of the second half won't be exactly the same as the pattern of the first.
Yeah, you're right, as in Chelsea are still looking, exploiting the vulnerabilities of Arsenal at the back. Although Arsenal do seem to have more in attack.
1-0, tight scoreline. There was a day in the history of the Women's FA Cup final when there were huge scores. Southampton 8, QPR 2 in 1978. Pat Chapman scored 6.
Hearing some of those names and seeing the women who were honoured on the pitch at half-time, captains from each of their decades, captains from winning FA Cup teams. I met up with a lot of them on Friday at an event at Preston North End celebrating 100 years, or acknowledging 100 years since women's football was banned. Preston North End being the home of Dick Kerr's Ladies, which was one of the history that's been dug up by a lady called Gail Newsham, who's written several books on it. But it just was a wonderful celebration of where women's football was, what it's been through, and where it is today.
It all must start with inclusivity at school level and get more girls playing football and development through, and that's what is happening now, thank goodness. Here's Little. And she's buzzing now, Kim Little, beginning to find little pockets of space.
That's what she does best in that 10 role, receiving the ball, twinkle toes.
Mead, lovely turn. Mead, good challenge on her. Very good challenge by Jess Carter. And Arsenal now, I was going to say, finding their touch. That's not a good ball by Leah Volti. (1-0). It's a challenge by Beattie on Kerr. No free kick given. Kirby. Brighton has asked too much of Fran Kirby, away by Otavuba Moy. And a foul this time for the challenge on Mead.
She did very well, Beth Mead, to get a ball, to get her body between the ball and the player. And again, feeling that contact going down. Great feet from Beth Mead in this. See how tight Eriksson is to her, but she wriggles away. Right foot or left foot, Beth Mead. She's comfortable on either, but Jess Carter sticks to her task exceptionally well. She's growing as a player.
In the England reckoning, as we were saying earlier, Played 45 minutes against Austria and played against Latvia in the 20-0 romp. 1-0, by the way, is the most common scoreline for a Women's FA Cup final. 11 times the finals ended this way. That changed now. Stabbed on by Maritz and cleared by Chelsea. Maritz has stayed down this right-hand side. Here's Lia Volti, doesn't use her. Ruben Moy. Into Marnham and back again. Now here is Maritz, 5 times the winner of the German Cup with Wolfsburg. They've given it away again so cheaply, Arsenal. Kirby looks for Kerr. Ruben Moy squeezes it away. And here's Katie McCabe. Been a good battle that, McCabe and Cuthbert. I just think Erin Cuthbert, you ask Erin Cuthbert, play left side midfield, play right side midfield, play right wing back, play as a 10. She'll do a great job for you wherever she's asked to play.
She's been an unbelievable asset. She's bided her time to some degree at Chelsea. She's not always started for Chelsea, but this season she has been absolutely, as you said, stuck to task defensively, attacking, option. She's been absolutely irreplaceable for Chelsea.
We look for Kirby. Beattie got it away. And they can't get yardage with the clearance. Chelsea will come again. Eriksson angling it into the box. Just headed away. That's a really important header away by Catley, the Australian.
What a ball that was from Eriksson. Catley does deal with it well, but you see it is set back by Wright and absolutely arrowed in, looking for the space, not the player, and marshalled really well by Catley. I mean, as much as Chelsea rely on Frank Kirby and Sam Kerr and those intricate runs, they've got that in the locker, haven't they? A direct ball into the box, cause a problem.
Opportunity here for a second. Way through the box, Fleming was there. Now, just caught it. Lovely ball, what a lovely ball. Really good ball and a good take as well. And the cross by Cuthbert and the header by Kerr, and it was deserving of a second.
What a beautiful passage of play. Well taken ultimately by Zinsberger. But this touch from Cuthbert is a brilliant ball out from Eriksson, I think it was. But being able to get that ball across just shows you what Erin Cuthbert can do in attack as well. Just stretching for that header, couldn't quite get a pace on it.
5 saves now by Zinsberger in this FA Cup final. We conceded 1 in her last 6 appearances. Little.
This is where Arsenal need options. Kim Little on the transition, on the turnover. She looked up. The only person there was Miedemar, surrounded by 3 Chelsea defenders. Frida Marnham needs to come alive, start to check, make little runs, find angles.
If they look up now, Beth Mead is open on the right-hand side, but they couldn't find her. And she's still open, really, if they can get the ball out to her. The danger has now been seen by Eriksson. But at times when Eriksson does get drawn into the middle as the left-side centre-back of 3, and Wrighton stays a little bit further up, there is space behind the Norwegian.
And what's making it so hard are out of possession Chelsea. They're placing themselves and they're moving into positions and angles that cut off those simple balls. Just a simple example before was a lot of them couldn't play a square pass to Jen Beattie because Sam Kerr got herself in a position to nick it. And they're doing that all around the pitch, Chelsea. Frank Kirby's working so hard out of possession.
It's beyond Bright. There's a little opportunity there for McCabe, perhaps. It was cut out again by the hard-working Cuthbert. Little, low centre of gravity, passes around. Maritz, Beth Mead, Ingle was there, not for the first time in the game, to do the unheralded stuff. And they've got a chance here for Kerr to get in behind Ruben Moy. He's all alone here, Sam Kerr. Fleming's joining on the far side. Kerr doesn't use her, wrong foot's the goalkeeper. Chelsea are 2-0 up, they have one hand on the cup. Lovely finish. Knew exactly what she was doing.
Well, for all the intricate, phenomenal, skillful build-up that Chelsea have shown, they undo Arsenal with a simple direct ball, head down, running at a player, 1v1, and a clinical, knowledgeable finish from Sam Kerr, one of the most prolific goal scorers in the whole world. Does really well, gets across, gets the ball, goes at Wubben Moy, gets her head down, commits her, knows that the goalkeeper is anticipating either a ball across or a shot across her, and she uses the legs of Wubben Moy, goes through those, unsights the goalkeeper and sticks it in at that near post. When you're there as a goalkeeper, Zinsberger, you're taking your position off of the defender's covering the near post, so when it struck through the legs of the defender, you're covering the other 3/4 of the goal, and it's so difficult. Such a clever finish from one of the world's best.
Highest score in the history of Australian women's football, highest score in the history of women's league football in the USA. And for Chelsea, she gets her 44th goal in 58 games.
That's a kick in the teeth for Arsenal, for all that they've improved their performance in this second half. Just shows you how vulnerable they're still leaving themselves.
Sorry, Reg, Arsenal's formation simply hasn't worked. They're going to have to make a change. I can see, is that Iwabuchi about to come on for them?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a really clever midfield player, and has been over the years one of the best in the world, certainly, and she'll get her opportunity to come into this cup final. Japanese international. BT eaten in the air there, very nearly by Frank Kirby. That really shouldn't have happened.
Be interesting to see whether he does make a change in formation, or whether what I anticipate is Marnham come off, Iwabuchi come on, more technical to thread that ball through. Iwabuchi, a very, very assured player.
Technically gifted Japanese international and a World Cup winner in 2011, silver medalists in the London Olympics. She was a sub in the final here. Here's Jennifer Beattie. I would imagine Volti would go off. Might be Marnham, but I think it'll be Volti. Now also got an opportunity. Beth Mead is going right to that left-hand side again, where she caused 1 or 2 problems. Meadham has had a quiet final. She was unaware there was a tackle coming, poor communication. Chelsea clear to Kerr. Wubben Moy misplaces the clearance. Football match littered with Arsenal mistakes. Approaching the hour, they're 2-0 down. Kirby turning away. Here's Ingle. So steady. Ingle right into the box. And just couldn't get the final ball in from Eriksson, who's got forward so willingly on this left-hand side for Chelsea in the second half in particular. Little now for Arsenal. They can see that Iwabuchi is about to come on. She was at Aston Villa last season. She was there having moved from Kobe Leonessa. And it is Leah Velti who goes off, and on comes Iwabuchi. Scored against Scotland in the last World Cup finals, then the Olympics in the summer, and was 5 times a cup winner in her home country with the Belleza side. Got some work to do to get a cup winner's medal here today. An hour gone. Chelsea look for a third. Kirby, Ingle, lovely ball. Wrighton, Kerr's far post. Hoisted up to her, and there was no one in the middle, but look at the red shirts back there, jittery, panicky. There was no pressure on them whatsoever.
Oof, that was cool under pressure from Arsenal. Frank Kirby, you would have expected, and that's what Sam Kerr was thinking, wasn't it? A little nod back in to the middle. But Frank Kirby set that press. She forced Arsenal to into the errors. You can see her appetite for this game in particular, Frank Kirby. We're seeing the best of Frank Kirby today.
The very best in the world. She's lived her life really in the glare of public scrutiny, Fran Kirby. She was so young when she played in Canada for England. nothing on there for Arsenal's offside anyway. Mark Sampson talked about his fox in the box in Fran Kirby. Free kick here then to Chelsea for the offside.
Yeah, certain offside. This back line of Arsenal, of Chelsea, have been so disciplined. Been disciplined in their utilisation of the back line to hold offside, but also disciplined in their fluidity and who's gone forwards. Eriksen down this left-hand side, Cuthbert down the right-hand side. So well oiled.
Fran Kirby's often talked about the anxiety problem she had as a teenager. She lost her mum when she was very young, and the last 3 years of her life have been so eventful with that illness, and then the recuperation and the recovery of form. Iwabuchi.
It's wonderful to see a happy Fran Kirby, because I think that is what is making the best that Fran Kirby as a footballer is her as a happy person.
Meanwhile, Kirby made the run off her. Here's Iwabuchi. Just took it off the back foot to give herself an extra half a yard. Underway once again for Chelsea to plug the gaps. You know, we've talked about Kerr, we've talked about Kirby and the likes of Wrighton and so on and so forth, but Sophie Ingles had a very, very good final.
She reads the game so well, doesn't she? And she's been doing that key role for Chelsea for a long, long time, just sitting in front of that back four, sitting into the back four or back three at times when required. Got into the Team GB squad this time. Recognition of the fantastic work that she's done and leadership she's had at Chelsea.
Held in high esteem by a manager, I can tell you. For the first ever WSL goal against the Arsenal. She was playing for Bristol at the time, 7 years ago. And there she is making a challenge. Known for a goal scoring, known for doing just that, what she's done there. Breaking up opposition attacks. Runner-up in the Cup of 2012.
I remember when Katie Chapman retired from Chelsea and there was something missing in that heart of midfield, and I think Sophie Ingle has been that replacement.
Here's Miedemar, McCabe, and away it goes by Erin Cuthbert. Collision there with the Millie Bright, but she got it away, Erin Cuthbert.
Yeah, a little bit of chaos there. Neither one of them called it off. This is promising for Arsenal.
Corner kick here for Arsenal. They inject new life into this cup final. Not like that. Not like that.
On the rare occasions Arsenal had free kicks, Katie McCabe and Beth Mead, the deliveries have been disappointing.
Well, Fran Kirby trying to get away there was certainly fouled by Katie McCabe. There's going to be a yellow card pulled out.
It was a good one to take for the team though, Katie McCabe there. Right decision.
She gets called to the referee. Bookings now for Arsenal players. At length, a yellow card produced. Boos from the Arsenal fans, but
pretty cynical. Katie McCabe knew what she was doing there, but if I was in goal for Arsenal, I'd have been grateful for that.
Mentioned that the England coach was supposed to be here today. I'm sure she is. But, Vic Akers is here as well. The most successful coach in the history of FA Cup finals with Arsenal. He really created Arsenal Women's Football Club, Vic. I'm sure that Alex Scott would agree with me. Kelly Smith is here, Arsenal legend, England legend. Joe Montemurro was supposed to be here, the Arsenal coach of last season and coach of Juventus. They played them in the Champions League in the week.
Yeah, Vic Akers really made women's football, put women's football on the map. His Arsenal team, the quadruple winning team, came on to so much success. Really led the line in what women's football was in an era where it was amateur. tried to make it as professional as it could be, employed a lot of the women at Arsenal Football Club.
Here's Mead. The crowd here today, 40,942. A little bit lower than expected. They were expecting a bigger walk-up today. It's cold afternoon. Rain has stopped now. It was pouring down half an hour or so ago. BT. I haven't got my thermals on. I'm sure everyone's delighted to know that fact, but anyway. You look a little bit green there now.
Do I? Oh, I'm toasty.
Now, Nina's on that left-hand touchline, but she's not used. This is a bright one for Arsenal. Oh, disappointing cross, but Berger came for it. Might have got something on it. She's got a bit of cramp, the goalkeeper. I think she's got a touch of cramp. Oh, now there's a chance of a breakaway that's stopped, but the goalkeeper is in such pain. The referee has drawn attention to that. She's just got cramp.
Yeah, you could see when she took off to punch that cross. It was a great cross with regard to the area that she put it in, second 6-yard box. Boven Moy there, just a little bit lackadaisical with a touch. And who else but Fran Kirby hustling the back line. Oh, she does get a little kick in her face there, Fran Kirby, but she's holding her knee.
I think the whistle had gone, but the referee had called attention for the medical staff to go back to the goalkeeper. That's why a free kick wasn't given. And if that's the case, then Chelsea will fume.
Certainly should have been a free kick to Chelsea. They've got the time now to communicate with fourth officials, with assistants, to come to the right decision. But not often you see a goalkeeper get cramp. Must be something to do with that cold weather you're on about.
Yeah.
Don't think she's got thermals on either.
Well, she's still down here, the goalkeeper, and at the other end, so is Fran Kirby.
Caitlin Ford.
Yep, about to come on for Arsenal, forward player.
Another of Australian players brought over originally by Joe Montemuro.
Jen Beattie will depart, so centre-back goes off and a forward comes on. They have to bring on extra power up front. They have to get back into this cup final very imminently. It's slipping away from them.
Fran Kirby does look pretty uncomfortable, gingerly walking to this near touchline to us.
Caitlin Ford, 4 goals this season, the Australian international. Started 4 of their last 6 games, has a couple of goals in this run against Tottenham. Match of the day live next Sunday, 12:15. Brighton against Manchester United in the WSL. Brighton have punched above their weight this season under the former England manager Powell, and Manchester United under new management this season. She's up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Couple of weeks off international duty, FA Cup final week. Girls will be raring to go in WSL again next weekend.
Here's Little. Ford is away on the left-hand side. Mead's come to the right. Miedemar through the middle. Little and Iwabuchi either side of it. It's virtually a front 5 now for Arsenal. The danger for that is being caught on the counter.
Yeah, Marnham's just scanning across, in that holding midfield role, protecting that back line for Arsenal. They have to gamble, simple as that. Edeval has to gamble in this 20 minutes to go to salvage something.
Wilbur Moy. Marrick's back to her. Without Zinsberger in the first half, Chelsea would have been home and hosed by the break. Miedemar with a little flick off, cleared away by, once again, Erin Cuthbert. Kerr looks for Kirby, she's okay now. 4 red shirts there for Arsenal. She shouldn't get a shot away. She does get a shot away, and it's the woodwork. And then Ingle blasted in, and they were a lick of paint away from going 3 up.
She's hobbling now, Fran Kirby. That's straight, but that is, as a goalkeeper, your defenders are backing off, they're backing off, they're backing off. It's so frustrating. She's run such a long way, Fran Kirby. Yes, she's tricky, yes, she's fast. And what an effort that is. Zinsberger rooted to the spot. But just no pressure on the ball. You've got numbers back, Arsenal. You have to commit. You have to get in Fran Kirby's face.
Zinsberger there looked like the standing Subbuteo goalkeeper. Used to get a diving Subbuteo goalkeeper or a standing one, which the standing goalkeeper couldn't see the point of, to be honest. That's one for the youngsters there. If you don't know what Subbuteo is, then look it up. Fantastic game. Tabletop football in all its glory. And I think Fran Kirby's going to go off in a minute. Pernilla Harder will come on. She's getting ready. You can see on the far side behind the coach. Not a bad player to bring on.
The ball from Irabuchi there. You can see what she's trying to do. Little rifle ball, cut out 3 or 4 Chelsea players. It's just, they're stagnant, Arsenal. When they're on the ball in possession, there's not enough movement. Credit to Chelsea, they are marshalling that movement, really restricting what Arsenal can do.
Well, she's clearly in pain. But it was her goal that put Chelsea ahead in the 3rd minute of play. And from that moment on, it's been a dominant Chelsea display. And no wonder she gets a hug from her coach. And on comes Pernilla Harder, twice European Footballer of the Year. Record signing at around about 250 grand, they say. Kerr on to Wrighton. Harder was right up there with the play. She's missed the last 6 games, injured. Little, Mead. Back to Little, to the gears. Leupolz can't catch her. Lovely long ball to the far post and well seen off by Erin Cuthbert. She's had some FA Cup final.
You could see that that was the ball that was on from Kim Little, and she executed it brilliantly. Erin Cuthbert checks her back shoulder, knows who's behind her, what's behind her, and a perfect interception from Erin Cuthbert, and gets the hugs and the well dones from her friends. Great break down that right-hand side between Beth Mead and Kim Little.
Whatever she does in the game, she wants to do it to the best of her ability, Cuthbert. Cross will be easily dealt with by Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? If it's a tackle, if it's a pass, if it's a shot, she just wants to be the best she possibly can at every stage.
And there's no, she never drops off at anything, and whether that's pressing a 10-yard ball, whether it's chasing back, it's 100% switch. She's always concentrating. You never see lapses of concentration. She's been on it this season.
Arsenal need something in the last 16 minutes just to get their game going. If it's a lucky bounce, if it's a deflection in, anything.
In all honesty, they've been outclassed this afternoon in every department, midfield, in possession, out of possession.
Chelsea won't say it after the game because they'll be too diplomatic, but this is a statement because of what happened in the opening WSL game, I think. And they felt so annoyed about what happened.
They were rocked on that day.
Here's Harder, sorry Rachel, Kurz to the right-hand side. Harder, good long run by the substitute. Harder's first impact in the final. Easy save in the end at the near post by Zinsberger.
You bring off Fran Kirby and you bring on Pernilla Harder, Ballon d'Or winner.
Lovely long run, no finish. Zinsberger, Arsenal's best player on the day. Harder, by the way, 6 goals this season in 8 games. Because of that injury, she's been restricted. She scored 3 in the last 3. A couple against Arsenal last February. Kirby and Kerr, the goal scorers for Chelsea. You've heard it before, and you'll hear it again. And Chelsea come again. Iwabuchi caught in possession. flicked it one side a little, couldn't get the other. Here's Mead. Looks for Miedemar. I don't think anyone could fault Beth Mead's endeavours today, commitment, but it just hasn't happened for us. Eriksson here, Ingle. Never looks ruffled, Sophie Ingle, always looks calm.
She reads the game so well. She's been around and playing in that position for such a long time.
Arnhem's given it away. Off go Chelsea again. Kerr Flagger stayed down. Sam Kerr for Chelsea. Little dink. What a goal! What a goal to seal the FA Cup victory. Outstanding finish by an outstanding goal scorer. Chelsea have dominated the FA Cup final of 2021. They scored early. They should have had 5 by half-time. They now have 3. Arsenal.
Sam Kerr there, running full pelt, and to have that presence of mind.
She offside?
No, no, onside, in the centre. I think it's Bubba Moy playing her on. But full pelt there, and to be able to dink it over Zinsberger at full pace. She's got the angle, which makes it more difficult to slide it across the goalkeeper or go near post. So she thinks, well, why don't I just do this? And this is why she's one of the world's best. Just dips under the bar. Everyone in a blue shirt enjoyed that.
Oh, look at that reaction too. She knows it's theirs now. And I think the dramatic goal celebration was also a little bit of a statement, because
no knee slide.
Here's Little. Eriksson, this will hurt Kim Little. Mead. Near post went for it. Took a deflection, did it? Corner ball.
You see Arsenal jogging in now, looking rather deflated.
Well, they had 2 efforts on goal, both of them off target. I don't think they've hit the target yet.
Berger making a save of note.
Away by Millie Bright, who hasn't made a single error in the game. And going to meet it was Jess Carter, a transformation in her career over the last 12 months. Nikita Parris is going to come on for Arsenal. Career back in England from Lyon, hasn't really got going at Arsenal.
It's tough, isn't it, when Arsenal have been in such phenomenal form in the Women's Super League. The likes of Beth Mead ahead of her.
She has played 18 games this season, but she's had cameo roles, and she'll replace Marlon. Well, they're really going for it now. They have no protection really in midfield, all forward-looking players. If they're as sloppy in possession as his side has been in the last 11 minutes, Chelsea could go on and get a couple more. Can Arsenal get something of a consolation? Bright stepped in. Parris with the slide challenge. Mistimed it with her first challenge. She's going to get a card.
Yeah, it was a loose challenge from Parris. I think she intentionally injured her, but just not quite up to the pace of it.
She's just come on.
I think Parris has gone in a pretty central role. Her and Viv Miedemar going up top together. As you mentioned, Caitlin Ford, Beth Mead, she just goes over the top. She intends to slide and catch the ball, but she doesn't catch the player, and I hope Wrighton's okay.
Wrighton didn't look a very pleasant challenge. Maybe it looked worse than it was, but anyway, it's a yellow card.
I was at Everton with Nikita Parris for a long time, and been on the receiving end on a number of those challenges in training. She's a feisty player.
I think England's going to come on for a role in the cup final. There's a chance for Harder again on the shoulder of Wooden Moy, who got just a touch on it.
Chelsea have just not given up on anything. They've chased down every ball.
They look for Kerr at the far post on a hat-trick now.
They've not made anything easy for Arsenal at the back. Every time Wubben-Moy's in possession, Jen beat you before she came off, but look at this sumptuous finish. If you think that a couple of missed chances from Sam Kerr knocks her confidence, then you can think again. You can see that finish, and you know that she is as resilient as a player as you can get.
Harder looks for her again, and in came Fleming, I think it was, to lift it over the bar. Got there, the Canadian, scored in the Olympic final.
Another Chelsea player who's had to wait quite a long time, really, to have any sort of run of starts for Chelsea, but as all of these players know, in the matchday squad, making that matchday squad and keeping them happy, Emma Hayes has done an absolutely brilliant job of that.
Now a chance here for Nikita Parris, running with Carter, who's had a super final, super season. All the way through this campaign, scored against London City. Little. Chelsea going to make a raft of substitutions. Beth England. G is getting ready to go on. Ji So-yeon, what a player to bring off the bench again. Strength and depth. Iwabuchi, Mead, lanced away again by Jess Carter.
This is the other side of what Chelsea have done so well, not just today, but why they are one of Europe's best teams, is they defend so well. Eriksson Mjelder's actually not in the matchday squad today, but she will be another key player, I'm sure.
Just back from long-term injury. Let's look for Paris. Here's Ingle. Nikita Parris needs a good run of games and goals in the Arsenal starting lineup with those European finals coming up next summer. No great movement up front for Arsenal, dispirited. 6 minutes to go, Wubben-Moy might be about to be substituted. Sorensen's about to come on, defender. Stabbed away by Eriksson. Ingle looks to set Kerr away. Wubben-Moy got back at her, but it's still Kerr, but the flag goes up.
Tireless running from Sam Kerr. We're in the 85th minute now, and from the opening few seconds, see that was the game plan.
Now an opportunity for Arsenal forward. Little pullback looking for Paris. England's going to come on for Chelsea anyway. G is over there as well. In comes across looking for Miedema. She's had to feed off scraps.
That was the word I was thinking of as well, exactly that. Nothing clear cut for Arsenal at all in this whole afternoon.
Well, the third substitute there is Drew Spence. That's great to see her playing in the cup final. Sam Kerr, all smiles, all smiles. 2 goals. And Beth England comes on. But terrific to see Drew Spence, who's Chelsea's longest serving player, to get a chance in the cup final. She replaces Leopold, so steady in that midfield with Ingle have made a real impact on the game. And Spence will come on as well for Guro Reiten. It's Drew Spence, it's her 5th FA Cup final. And Drew Spence comes on for Guro Reiten. I think it's going to be a defensive change for Arsenal. What do you make of those changes for Chelsea?
Well, the game's done, simple as that. And they are 3 long-time servants of Chelsea. G has been here pretty much since Emma Hayes has been here. Drew Spence, I think precedes Emma Hayes even, has been around for such a long time at Chelsea. And Beth England has earned her way back to Chelsea with loan spells out to Liverpool, loan spells out to elsewhere, proven herself, lifted her confidence, and has become a player who scored critical goals for Chelsea. So as much as it's only 5 minutes, it's a representative of how important those 3 players particularly are to Chelsea Football Club.
Beth England, a couple against Latvia for England the other day. Well, they all scored against Latvia, didn't they, really, let's be honest.
Less said the better about that.
Yeah. And I think the England coach is very pragmatic about it as well afterwards. She was saying, you know, we need more competitive games than this.
We do see it in men's football, don't we? Sometimes huge nations, population-wise, against minnows, as it were.
Bucci beaten in the air by Ingle. 2.5 minutes to go. Make sure you've got to pick your man of your player of the match, I should say. As Arsenal look to feed forward, you have to name the Vitality player of the match in a minute. There's a hefty challenge in there on Drew Spence. McCabe left her foot in there and she's already on a yellow card. It was high.
No, that's fine. That was not worthy of his second yellow. I think the referee overall has let the game flow pretty well.
To Beth England. Fleming. No way back now for Arsenal with 90 seconds plus stoppage time. Cuthbert outstanding on that right hand side for Chelsea. Millie Bright, flawless today. Now that shows how Millie Bright, I think, has developed as a player. She tried to do something there that she wouldn't have done a couple of years ago. Who's your player of the match, Rachel?
Well, it could have been a whole host of players from Chelsea, but I'm going to go with double goal scorer Sam Kerr for today. She's been well helped by Fran Kirby, and I think Erin Cuthbert has been sensational as well for Chelsea. But Sam Kerr with 2 critical goals, the beauty of that third.
And she's the player of the match. What a finish this was.
I mean, uses a pace, gets at Catley, but then to be able to put the brakes on mentally and execute that, she enjoyed that as much as we did.
And Chelsea look to put Beth England through the middle, and out comes Zinsberger. She can hold her head up high, the Arsenal goalkeeper, but so many of them will be so bitterly disappointed.
They have just been outclassed today, Jonathan.
And as we go into stoppage time, what impact will have this have on the WSL? Superstar looking on there, unfit at the moment, Tobin Heath, but...
Well, it's neck and neck, isn't it, currently at WSL? I think Arsenal had the edge mentally going into this game, you would have thought, but I think it certainly was the repercussions of that opening match, big stage, you know, on TV, in front of a large crowd at Arsenal, and being beaten in the manner that they were beaten. Chelsea carved open at the back. Emma Hayes was adamant, was desperate to ensure that that did not happen today.
And what a difference Leah Williamson would have had there out until the new year with a hamstring injury, and Tobin Heath, world class. But they got off to the worst possible start.
They looked vulnerable from the outset, didn't they? With the prowess that Chelsea have in their forward players, you cannot afford to have anything other than a watertight and flawless game at the back. And Arsenal had neither of those from the beginning. Yeah, if Leah Williamson had been in place, it would have been a more settled back line. But they just didn't learn from the mistakes either, Arsenal.
Here's Spence. How can she pull it back from that position? Little dink by Fleming. Comes all the way through. Eriksson, the captain. G. Trying to glide beyond Boy Sorensen. still has it. Just Carter, and all the way through.
If Emma Hayes' team runs out with a clean sheet here, she will, is dotting the I's and crossing the T's on a magnificent performance for Chelsea today. They have executed everything that Emma Hayes and her backroom staff will have wanted to have implemented and executed on the biggest stage in the women's domestic football calendar.
Well, Chelsea have not conceded a goal in 683 minutes of football. Arsenal need 3 in 2 minutes. It's not going to happen, but they're looking here for consolation. Miedema onside, and a lovely effort to get back at her by Jess Carter. Lovely challenge by Jess Carter to get back at her.
Matched, didn't she? Matched Miedema for pace, Jess Carter. She's been very, very athletic since, as you mentioned, playing for Birmingham as a 16-year-old, thrown at the deep end in some degree. She's matured as an athlete, as a player. She reads the game. Given responsibility at the centre of that 3, just shows what an experienced head she has on her.
In comes the corner kick. Iwabuchi, out by Millie Bright. Bright there again to thwart Paris. Decent ball into the penalty area. Here's Beth Mead. So many Arsenal players will be devastated by this. And so many Chelsea players, it will be not really mission revenge for that league defeat at the start of the season, but players like Carter, she was beaten here for Birmingham City in the cup final of 2017 against Manchester City.
I think Emma Hayes was quickly ready, and Georgia Fox, a young Chelsea player who's made a WSL debut, come on here at Wembley. I mean, this is what dreams are made of as a young footballer now, male or female. You can dream, and it's a reality that you can play at Wembley, you can be a professional footballer. What a moment this is for particularly young players.
Well, Sophie Ingle has had a terrific final for Chelsea, and she makes way. Annick Kanoan coming on, who's a defender and a recent signing from PSV Eindhoven. Missed the last 4 games with a muscle injury. Had in the Olympics in the summer. She spent battling on.
It's got to be all of it. She keeps asking Emma Hayes, how long left, fourth official, how long left?
And she's been able to rest players late on in this game with future games in mind. Arsenal have to pick themselves up very quickly. Chelsea have won the 2021 Vitality FA Cup final. They have beaten Arsenal. They have beaten them out of sight. From the moment Fran Kirby scored in the opening minutes, Kerr cemented the victory after they'd squandered chances and Zinsberger had made splendid saves. But Kerr's sumptuous second and Chelsea's third wrapped up an emphatic victory, Rachel.
It was a blue day today. Emma Hayes tactically outsmarted Jonas Eidevall. Tactically, technically, everything about the performance was sublime from Chelsea. Emma Hayes and the backroom staff should be very, very proud of the players, every single one of them that took part, that were here today. From a Chelsea perspective, it was almost perfection. Arsenal, it just was not their day. Everything that they tried to do, any runs they tried to get going, any passages of play, Chelsea just snuffed them out.
Well, a great victory. She can afford to rest players with the Juventus in mind, and it's a great victory for the Chelsea coach. It's a great victory for Emma Hayes. It's a great victory for Chelsea, and they have emphatically beaten Arsenal in this cup final by 3-0.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Rachel. We will be back with you shortly for the presentations. You can see Emma Hayes there congratulating the Arsenal team and their backroom staff. Jordan Nobbs there giving her a hug, and I'm sure those two also go back away when she was coaching at Arsenal, Alex. But personally, for Emma Hayes, this feels like another huge moment in her career because it's wrestling that kind of dominance off Arsenal in this competition.
And once again, Gabby, being able to produce again, time and time again, when it absolutely matters. And from Chelsea, from the first moment in this kickoff, they was absolutely a class apart and embarrassed Arsenal today, and those celebrations are well deserved.
I think when people talk about winning mentality, I think it's so easy to say, and I think what this Chelsea team have demonstrated, certainly in the last couple of seasons, is that they live and breathe this winning mentality, and you can see that with a group of players today. I think, as you mentioned, Alex, from the beginning of the game to the very end, they were professional in their performance, they dominated the game, and they stayed in control.
They came out with such intensity and this high press, this tempo, and it rattled Arsenal, and it seemed to completely throw their game plan out. I mean, that is as a coach exactly what you want to achieve. But for Arsenal then to not get the handle on the game and not get themselves back into it, no shots on for Arsenal today.
You had Arsenal players were rattled from the start, and that's where you can see the difference between players, because you have players that go into your shell, or you have players that step up in those moments, and too many of these Arsenal players were totally rattled and never recovered from that.
Yeah, I think that's Chelsea dominance though, Alex. I think, you know, you speak about it, these Chelsea players, more of these Chelsea players have been there and done it before in terms of winning and being in big games. There's not enough of those Arsenal players that have been in big games over the last few years. Yes, they won the league 2 years ago, but in terms of actually winning something, I can't remember the last time this group of players did that. So they're building back. They've started really well in the WSL, but today it just shows the gap between Chelsea and Arsenal at the moment.
Yeah, Jonas Eidevall there is speaking to a crestfallen group of women who have come here with high expectations. They're leading the league. They're the team that people are trying to catch. They're a team of superstars as well, but he hasn't had as much time to imprint his identity onto his team, and this will make him think about what is needed to take them on to that next level. He wants to be competing at the very top level in Europe, never mind in England.
There's been two big lessons already for this Arsenal team this season, when they played Barcelona in the Champions League and now in a cup final. And what me and Farah spoke about at half-time is the difference between players being able to deliver when it matters, in a final, in a Champions League.
Well, I tell you who did deliver, and that was Sam Kerr, and the player of the match is with Jo Curry.
Sam, can you hear me all right? Lovely.
Team, because I think they're expected to compete a lot closer today.
Yeah, coming into this game, first v second, close in every single stats, goal scoring, form. But this is it. You need to deliver. I know I keep saying it, but deliver when it matters. Farah, you've been in changing rooms, both of us, when you look around and you know when some players are nervous and going to make those mistakes and how you can recover from that. But like we said, this is a big lesson for this Arsenal team. They need to regroup and go again.
Well, just below us here in the West Stand is where the Chelsea fans have stayed. Of course, the Arsenal fans are starting to leave, but the blue flags are flying. The Chelsea fans are having their song played, and they are loving this moment. The third FA Cup for Chelsea on this, the 50th anniversary of the ban in women's football being lifted. A seminal day, an important day that's been marked by the FA, with captains from those winning sides through the years being invited today. And in a moment we will see Chelsea go up and receive their trophy, receive their medals, and it will feel today very special indeed. Wembley is now the home for the Women's FA Cup, and the crowds come. You know, build it and they'll come, Alex, and they have.
Because they know it's always been such a showpiece game, and the more women's football is, yes, the commercial deals on TV, people are following stories of a Beth Mead, a Sam Kerr. You invest in these, and now to see Wembley with the crowd that it has cheering on the Chelsea team, the Arsenal team, it feels like such a special occasion.
Yeah, an unbelievable occasion. I think the fans have played their part today. We've had the Chelsea fans just sat below us, and it's been fantastic to see the blue flags flying. Arsenal played their part early on in the game in terms of the fans, but Chelsea had the better of the two.
Well, Beth Mead's had a tremendous season so far. She looks distraught though, because she's been behaving like a winner all season. She will expect to come away today with more than a loser's medal, and a minor setback for somebody who's on a real upward curve at the moment. She will come again. Today, though, is blue. It belongs to Chelsea. So let's hand you back to Jonathan Pearce for the presentation.
Thanks, Gabby. She didn't just look distraught, she looked absolutely furious, Beth Mead, for me, as she moved through, and that's a crumb of comfort for Arsenal, that she is so furious. with this performance, and you could see shots of Zinsberger as well, talking before this presentation where they'll get losers' medals instead of the winners they crave. She was furious as well, and the manager spoke to them at length in that huddle, and they will have to come back very quickly. Next up, the European champions in the Champions League, Barcelona, and they've already lost to them once this season, heavy defeat, but this, in the manner of defeat, was more worrying, I think, for Arsenal Football Club. Rachel.
Yeah, there seemed almost a disbelief on the face, didn't there, of Beth Mead, of a number of players, as to how did we just get absolutely, how is it so one-sided, and quick turnaround for them.
Emma Hayes comes up to lift another winners' medal. 3 FA Cups for Chelsea. Beth England, a substitute, comes up. Sophie Ingle played such a huge role throughout the season. Jess Carter has, when switched to that middle of the centre-back trio, she has excelled. Fran Kirby got the final off to a goal-scoring start in the 3rd minute. Sam Kerr with her 2 goals. As a young girl, she said she didn't like soccer. Her family were Aussie Rules players. She comes from a great sporting background. Granddad was a featherweight boxer. Uncle was a jockey. Dad and uncles played Aussie Rules. She played it until she turned to football and became a global superstar and a star of this FA Cup final. And Millie Bright collects her medals. The substitutes move on through, and here's Millie Bright picking up her medal. And the captain comes last, Magdalena Eriksson. I'll tell you what, she had more difficulty getting the medal out of the box than she did creating with Chelsea in the Arsenal box today. But it's another success for Magdalena Eriksson. Another title for Chelsea, treble winners in 2021. The celebrations, the pyrotechnics, the glitter. The hands are on the silver trophy. The colour is blue. The winners of the FA Cup in 2021. Sam Kerr, the player of the match. The winners, deservedly so, emphatically so, Chelsea.
Thank you very much, Jonathan, and great scenes there as Chelsea party, enjoying this, their 3rd FA Cup, the investment that's gone into this club. I mean, look, we saw a picture of you back in the day, Farah, when you were a 14-year-old in your big oversized men's kit. And Chelsea have looked down the club, haven't they, and said, right, we've got to invest in the youth, we've got to put money in grassroots, as well as bringing in international stars. We want these young players to come right through.
Yeah, most definitely. Look, they've really invested, and this is what investment does to a team. You know, it's taken Emma 10 years for this team to become a winning team, and she speaks about that openly, how long it's taken her to get these players to perform the way in which she does. You know, it's my dream as a kid to put that Chelsea shirt